It is Friday, December 17th. We are 1 week away from at least Christmas Eve. And that was one of the big hits this week. I hope everybody enjoyed our target lesson, I believe in Father Christmas. Of course, as people were guessing what we were doing this week, our esteemed member Chris in Switzerland suggested it, or guessed it, I think on Monday, and it was up on Wednesday. So it's definitely on the plan, though, to get that one out this year. Sorry I missed it last year. But we had a lot of songs come out. We started off the week with still more Reverend Gary Davis. I don't think I talked that much about the bend in the lesson. But of course we started the week off with Cocaine Blues and then a little Mississippi John Hurt, which is very similar style but typically a little bit easier, except sometimes pretty quick. So anyway, we're going to be having some more from those two guys over the next few weeks. I'm having a good time putting together some of our country blues follow-ups. And we, of course, had... Can't even play it now. I hope this was a lot of fun to put together. I know you guys have heard me messing around with the Guess Who tune Undun for a few weeks. And a little of the delay was getting my buddy Jim to come over and sing it with me, and or for me. But so I hope people enjoyed the on the beat, behind the scenes thing that was part of the lesson. But we also put that out for everybody to see a little bit about what's going on. And I hope you're doing more with Jim as well in the near future. So, and then today we entered back into the Christmas world with, as a matter of fact, our review for today was on Silent Night, as was a lesson I did with one of my students, Shannon, a few weeks ago. We were working on playing instrumental version of Silent Night. So I hope you guys get something out of that. I know the fly-on-the-wall videos, I think, can be... Sometimes they can drag a little bit because we're just catching up on other things, but I just decided usually to put these up unedited and let them be, again, you're a fly on the wall. So we're going to keep a lot more of those going on for a while too. We had a video. I hope everybody had a chance to see Matt's conversation with MattB from a couple of days ago. So if you haven't seen that, it's kind of neat to see and hear MattB and what's going on with him. So hope you guys get a chance to check that out as well. We had a lot of vintage snapshots of very cool things. We had some Eric Clapton. We had stuff on Blackie. Didn't sound anything like that when he played it. And some things on Champ amps, the Fender Champs, that were what he was using back in those days, in the Derek and the Dominoes days. And then also had Jack talk about Stevie Ray Vaughan's #1 classic reissue at this point from Fender. So the Vintage Corner has been full of neat stuff in terms of mostly Fender related stuff this week. We had the Bob Porter interview. Bob, as some of you may remember, is somebody I've known for about 30 years. He's been cutting my hair since I was a young man, and we started playing some music recently, and he worked with me on a job at the Ritz-Carlton. Some of you guys may have seen some of the videos that we did of that. So Bob has got some interesting stories to tell, and I hope you guys are liking hearing stuff from him. We heard from a lot of other sort of local musical peripheral people. We finished up the interview that Mike Mullins did with the Griffin guys, Richard Johnston and Frank Ford, and hearing them is just pretty fascinating too, especially when they start talking about old Martins and who's got this and how Neil Young got this Martin and why Steve Stills has this one, Clarence White's guitar, all kinds of things, historical trivia, but minutia, and I find it fascinating. So speaking of builders, another really interesting guy who lives in Santa Cruz and has a shop is Rick Turner. So if you haven't seen the Rick Turner series that we've been putting up, he talks about a series of guitars he's building, this Buddy Holly project for the Guitar Foundation that they've put together, a charity thing, and then also talks about how he got to know Lindsey Buckingham and John McVie and started building guitars especially for Lindsey when Lindsey was looking for certain sounds that he couldn't get from his Les Paul and from his Strat. So anyway, all of that is part of the A Visit to Rick's Shop series that has been running this week as well. One really interesting episode of Making Music I wanted to bring up because it, I believe, just came out today, pretty sure, if you haven't been checking those out, this one is particularly interesting because the guy who you've probably maybe never heard of, named John Tristao, is a local, has been big time local music scene here in Northern California for 40 years, but has got a voice and just a style, a whole stage presence that is really neat. And his latest gig is he's the singer for Creedence Clearwater Revisited, which is obviously part of Creedence Clearwater Revival that is not John Fogerty. So Stu Cook and Doug Clifford, the bass player and drummer, recruited some other guys, and John is in there replacing, or at least doing John Fogerty's guitar parts and vocals. So making music has been a lot of fun for us to be able to bring to you as well. And then we had the student reviews, a few. Again, I mentioned the Silent Night one this week and a few others going back. We had both of our, well, a couple of our Netherlands folks, Willem and Anton, were playing a little blues this week. Willem's was, well, his was Silent Night, but not too much, not too bluesy. But Willem, I know you love the blues out there, so every time we put stuff out that is finger picking or something like that, I know you're getting on it. So anyway, that was it. We had what else is it? No, I think that's enough for today's news. I think I'm going to go back to playing and maybe a little more Greg Lake. Oh no, I already did that one. Do have I've been enjoying seeing some of the videos that people put up. I believe that was Web TV Dan did a nice version of Frosty. We had Wally's version of Winter Wonderland. So it's pretty neat to see the finger-picking versions of songs. So I really appreciate you guys working on those and putting them up. So keep up the good work. And I will be back next Friday, Christmas Eve, to kind of check in on what happened, what goes on, and what will be going on. We'll have some updates next week about the few weeks going into the end of the year. So that's it. Hope everybody has a nice, safe, and fun weekend. Hopefully full of a lot of music.